Juggalos and Juggalettes, this is your big homie Big Ian coming at you live and direct with the newest Fago Lovers interview. Today I'm sitting down with Jaxon, the lead guitarist for Head TE. How are you doing today, man?
I'm very well. How about yourself?
Not bad, man. First thing I wanted to talk to you about is, obviously I know you guys got a new album coming out called Evolution. First of all, what can fans expect from this new Head PE album?
Well, it'll be a little bit different than the other records. However, a lot of the records do tend to sound different from previous records, but this one is still different. And now we've really tried to explore a new kind of sound, at least new for Head PE, in that we went for more of a, I guess you could call it like a doom sound, like a doom metal type sound. It's the characteristics of that type of sound really come from the guitar riffs, the style of guitar riffs, the tuning of the guitar riffs, the attack. It's quite reminiscent of some of the early Sabbath, Black Sabbath records like Paranoid, and records like that we really tried to capture the essence of. And so we really we wanted to go with the sound because it was something that was just really interesting for us. And we were kind of in a transitional period for the past few years that it just made sense for us to sort of go in that direction. And when we started, we would go to sound checks and try out the sound. It was pretty obvious this is the right direction for us. And so fans will definitely notice this direction. They'll definitely notice it, but they'll love it because I think it works so well with Head PE. In fact, I'm surprised we haven't tried this in the past. So we've got that, and we also have some reggae tracks at the second portion of the record that kind of rounds out the album and just kind of ends it with an Irie vibe. So I think the fans should expect a really, really well put together record. It sounds great sonically. I think they're really going to love it.
Okay, and now speaking about the style and the new sound for the new record, I know you've been with Head PE since about 2004, so right at 10 years. And one of the things I wanted to ask you was how involved have you been in writing Head PE albums, either lyrically or musically, in that time?
Right. Well, lyrically, he writes the lyrics and is involved with that process. When it comes to songwriting in terms of music, since I started, I kind of jumped on as just kind of a live player, but I really wanted to let the guys know that I was interested in writing music. And so pretty much from that point forward, I kind of made it a point to always have for the next album cycle. So what I would do was just pretty much, write at home and try to compose as many different tracks as I could with, arrangements that I thought sounded good. And just different parts completed, basically just instrumentals. And I would submit them to Jared. I'd probably submit something like maybe 10 to 15 tracks at any given time. And he would be able to go and pick and choose and arrange different things and kind of change them around a little bit so that it was something that he was really feeling. And so that's pretty much been my involvement with the songwriting, combined with the fact that Jared at home does a lot of writing himself. And so when it comes time to go into the studio and work on the tracks together, we have a list of songs of some of the tracks that I've submitted to Jared and some of the tracks that he's written on his own. And then we go and we just pretty much we go and we rehearse them, we record them, and that's pretty much the process, really.
Switching back to, talking a little bit about, how Evolution is coming out. I know you guys had been with Subnoize Records since about 2006, but the new record is coming out through Pavement Records. Can y'all tell us a little bit about how you came around to this label change? And kind of as a sub-question to that, did that have anything to do with the beef going on between Kevin Zinger and KMK?
It may have been related, but I really couldn't comment on the specifics of how related it is. But I do know there were some differences in terms of just business and whatnot that were there between the label and the band, and as a result, we did separate. But we really just try to we really just try to move forward and focus on the next move. And so for a few years, we were kind of doing things on our own since the separation. And so we really wanted to make it a point to just work on how we could survive as a band and continue on doing things the Head PE way. And we met up with Tim King from Soil, who works with the Pavement record label, and the timing couldn't have been perfect because, you know, we had gone so much time without a record. You know, Truth Rising was the last release under Subnoise. We knew it was time after touring so much for us to put something out. And so, you know, Jared ended up talking with Tim, and it worked out. We ended up signing up with Pavement, and I think it was a really good move. So we've never looked back since. And again, like I said, it worked out, you know, because we were talking about styles and we were talking about what we wanted to do for the next record. And to really have Pavement come along when they did was great. So we signed up with Pavement. We've been with them, and we're really excited about the new release.
Okay. And now leading up to, you know, the new album's release, I know you guys are about a month away from starting the Evolution tour. Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, what you're doing to prepare to head out on the road?
Right. Well, this is a very exciting time for us. We're looking forward to getting out of the road. We're going to be doing a couple weeks on the road on our own, leading up to the gathering of the Juggalos, which we'll be playing. And then we have in August a tour with Powerman 5000 that'll last pretty much through September, beginning of September. And then we have a run in Europe and UK with Soil and American Head Charge. And then there's talk about us coming back to the States with that same lineup and doing a national tour in the States. So we have a lot of big things coming up. We're really excited, and I think a lot of our friends are going to be really stoked to hear the new stuff.
Absolutely. And now you had mentioned the gathering of the Juggalos. That was another question I wanted to ask, is that Head PE has been a gathering staple for many years, and a lot of people turn out for y'all's performances there, and y'all weren't able to make it last year, so we were curious about, why that was and, your feelings about being able to perform again this year.
Yeah, I really couldn't say exactly what the logistics were, why we weren't able to make the last one, but I can say for sure we're excited to do this one, and we're really happy that we've been able to sort of resonate with the Juggalo community over the past few years, and we're hoping we can just continue to do it every year because the Juggalos have always, showed us so much love. Even when we're on our own, they come out to the shows and really just show us a lot of support. So we're really looking forward to this one. And again, this one actually, the tour we're doing, the 2-week tour, actually leads up to the gathering. So we'll do the 2 weeks, and then the gathering will be, I think it's pretty much the last show on this 2-week run that we're doing. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
On that same subject, leading up to this interview, your publicist had mentioned to us that you were a fan of Faygo Lovers. Do you consider yourself a Juggalo?
You know what? I don't know I guess I'll leave that up to the Juggalos. I've been a fan of ICP for a really long time. I'm a fan of tons of the acts. I'm friends with a lot of those guys, and I really do. I dig the scene. I'm definitely a fan of the scene because it's so huge and the people are so cool. I would let a Juggalo decide that for me. Really,
I gotcha.
I would let them decide whether I fit the criteria or not. I don't know if I'm one to call that shot or not.
Sure. And one of the other questions, again, related to that is, do you think that y'all were kind of turned on to the Juggalo scene prior to joining Subnoise Records? Because I know KMK had really had a lot of exposure with Juggalos, leading up to that. Were y'all interested in that scene before joining Subnoise, or do you think that was something that kind of happened after the fact?
Well, it could have been a little bit of both. I knew, like I said, I'd been a fan of ICP for a long time, well before I even joined the band. But I had no idea how big the movement was. Not until we actually did start touring with Cottonmouth Kings did we really start seeing a lot of this stuff. But we saw it even more so with Tech Nine, actually, when we did the Strange Noise tour with him, and we started seeing a lot of Juggalos at the shows, and that was really kind of the beginning of our exposure, or at least my exposure to that movement. And obviously we did that tour with ICP the end of '09. And wow, I mean, like I said, even though we had seen a little bit of the Juggalo community from the Tech Nine and the Cottonmouth Kings tour, it really wasn't apparent to us just how massive and powerful this movement was until we did tour with ICP. So yeah, it was gradual, but eventually we saw it and we got it, and it was it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what the empire that's been built up over the past few years.
Sure. And in that same vein of questions, I know something that a lot of Juggalos are curious about or may have asked themselves over the years. You and some of the other members of Head have started, wearing face paint on stage and stuff. And I know a lot of Juggalos are probably curious if that is something that was, influenced by the Juggalo scene or not.
I think it depends on the person in the band. I know from my standpoint, it was, I had started kind of doing it here and there. I want to say it was, must have been on that Strange Noise tour. I had been just kind of getting interested in kind of adding more of a theatric aspect to the show. And my background actually stems back to like Kiss and Motley Crue and Alice Cooper and some of the artists that have really taken theatrics to the next level, from almost the beginning of rock and roll. And those are really my biggest. Yeah, those. I mean, like I said, that was my background. Kiss, Alice Cooper, Motley Crue. Those are groups that I really was into, and I'd always been interested in trying to incorporate the theatrics into my show. And I think that coincided with us, starting to play for the Juggalos and jump into that community. And so it really was perfect timing for me to
start exploring
doing those types of things. Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think it fit in well, and it seemed like I think it worked really well. And then I think it also kind of happened at the same time that the other guys in the band were kind of starting to get into that as well. So it really happened organically. It really wasn't one of those, we're going to plan to do this. We just thought it would be fun to do, and we thought it would be great, and people would get a kick out of it, and it adds a little something extra to the show. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
That was really the process for me.
Okay. I got a little bit more random question for you here, but I know that in the past, the band kind of will reach out to fans here and there for help with, driving the tour bus or printing up merch or stuff like that. And you don't really see a lot of bands at y'all's level doing stuff like that. Why do you guys think you take that approach?
Well, it's I think any level of interactivity or any amount of interactivity you can have with fans is great for both the fans and us. I think, when I think back of some of the bands that I enjoyed listening to, if I ever had a chance to somehow find a way to talk to them, whether it was social media, even though, my early days of social media wasn't even a thing, I would have been amazed. It would have been, the greatest things ever. And so I think, I think we realize that, and obviously social media has become such a big and important way of promoting. I think more importantly, it's about the interaction, and I think we've done our best to use it to its max, and it's really all about helping people, if you can use social media to help people or to have them help you or any way, shape, or form, I think that's valid just for that.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, I think that's all the questions I've got for you now. Is there anything else you'd like to say to all the Juggalos and Juggalettes listening to this right now?
Hey, we're looking forward to see you guys out there. We really appreciate your support, and come out to the shows and show your love, man.
Well, Jaxon, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview, and I will see you at the gathering.
Thank you so much, brother. We'll talk to you soon.